Hey guys, it's Sandro here with a review today on the BIGBOI blower range, including the Buddi, Mini and Pro models. I will be going over each individual model and displaying their features and specifications on screen, so you can pause the video if you like. But rather than just regurgitating the information that you can easily find online, I'm going to focus on my personal experience with these blowers over the last couple of months, as I've had a good chance to try them out on quite a few cars. I'll also be drawing some direct comparisons to the MetroVac Air Force Blaster, which I've used for quite a few years now and has been a great overall unit to date. But just quickly on the viewpoint of why you'd use air to dry a vehicle rather than a towel, there are two main reasons. Firstly is that you eliminate the possibility of scratching the paint, as air drying is 100% safe. And secondly, blown air removes trapped water that's impossible to remove with a towel and is a vital process before paint correction or protection. One thing that I want to add from the perspective of someone that has used both an air compressor and a leaf blower to dry cars in the past is that these dedicated air blower units expel warm to hot air, which really does dramatically speed up the drying process compared to cold air leaf blowers and compressed air units. So first up is the BIGBOI Buddi. This is obviously the most compact and affordable unit of the three, and the only one that doesn't have an extended hose, which honestly makes it super convenient and easy to get going. It does come with 3 interchangeable nozzles, as all the units do, from a round, rectangular and wide nozzle range, which you'll see on display with the other units shortly. I'll also add that all the nozzles are made from soft rubber rather than harder rubber or plastic, which is a big positive for me, as I've had nozzles shoot off in the past on other blowers. You really only have one setting choice with the Buddi when you fire it up, which is low or high. Now choices and settings are always a great option to have, and there is definitely more setting options with the larger units, as in certain situations when working on more delicate or older vehicles, the option to choose less aggressive nozzles with lower wind speeds and temperatures may in fact come in handy, especially with the larger and more powerful units. But my advice with the Mini is plug it into an extension lead, grab the medium rectangular nozzle, set it on high and go for it. And honestly, that's the biggest advantage of this unit. It's just so quick and easy to use, without having to deal with long hoses that do get hot and do get in the way. But more importantly, the Buddi does in fact work, and actually better than I initially imagined it would. Now, is it as quick at drying a car as the larger units? The simple answer is no. However, don't think for a minute that it doesn't work, or that it's really that much slower, because I was really surprised to discover that it just takes slightly longer to get there. But the fact that it's fairly light in the hand and easy to maneuver means that the user experience is quite good. My personal advice with the Buddi would be for home or personal users on really any size car, and obviously fantastic for motorbikes and smaller cars. However, if you own a larger SUV or 4x4, it is a little harder to get the roof dry in a timely manner, but that's really the only obstacle. I'm not going to get into all the specific prices, as it's going to vary quite a lot depending on what part of the world you're in. But in general, it really seems extremely well priced, and if I'm comparing the BIGBOI blower range to the MetroVac range, they do seem to be a good 10 to 20% cheaper in price. One last tip that I'll add is that if you want to use this unit more specifically for blowing out trapped water in tight panel seams and trims, it's best to use a smaller rounded nozzle, which will give you more concentrated airflow that's perfect for blasting out hard to reach trapped water. And you'll also find that this is the perfect unit and configuration for door jambs, engine bays and so on. Next up is the BIGBOI Mini. Apart from the increased power and airflow, there's also a few more settings and options with this unit, including high and low temperature settings, as well as a dial to control the wind speed. The Mini also gives you more accessories to choose from, such as a wheelbase mount and wall mount brackets. The same 3 rubber nozzles are slightly larger in diameter to maximise the increased power, and it adds quite a unique rubber hose. As you'll see shortly, the hose actually expands to about twice the size once you turn the heat on, and it once again retracts once the heat is turned off, which is also the same for the BIGBOI Pro. Now I can't talk as yet about the durability of all these BIGBOI blowers, as I've only had them for a couple of months, but what I can say is that the build quality, selection of materials and overall feel is really quite exceptional, especially considering the price point. They honestly feel really robust, the dials turn smoothly, the switches click and snap nicely, and there's just a great fit and finish. Taste is always a personal thing, but I personally like the design, as it's definitely unique and not just a cheap knockoff. I'll also add that as a professional detailer, it seems that almost all products and equipment that are designed for professionals seem to be downgraded in terms of look, aesthetics and user experience. I think the idea is that professionals don't need or want nice looking or nice smelling products, as it makes them seem amateurish. But I'm here to say that I do like my equipment to look and feel like someone has put some time into creating a great design, and I also like nice smelling products rather than crappy solvent based chemicals. I know we have the technology to make products that both perform well and give a great user experience without compromising the outcome. So I don't need to be insulted by manufacturers who try and sell me ugly looking equipment and bad smelling products because their marketing team said that's what I want. What's really surprising about the Mini is that it's extremely compact but still packs quite a punch. Now we're talking about a unit that's half the size and weight of my old MetroVac and about half as quiet at that. But even using the Mini in a professional environment where time is money, it's honestly got the speed and power to get a vehicle dry in quite a timely manner. I can easily say that I'll be quite happy using this at work, especially with the wheelbase option, and if I didn't know a more powerful model existed, I think I'd be just fine. One point I think that really needs emphasizing on both the Mini and the Pro is the rubber hoses. I think they're fantastic and perhaps the single greatest feature of the BIGBOI blowers. The stiff plastic hose on the MetroVac is honestly my biggest issue with it. You just can't manage it in a graceful way, especially in tighter spaces, and I hate the fact that you can't even nicely roll it up, as it's just not pliable with no clean or compact way to store it. The BIGBOI hoses are softer, safer around the car, easy to roll up and store, and really just fantastic to use. And the overall compact design makes them perfect for mobile detailers or people with limited garage or storage space. I think that out of all 3 BIGBOI blowers, the Mini would be my overall winner for the most applications and needs. The price point seems fantastic, the performance is really up there, it's compact and about as quiet as you can get with this sort of power. Last but not least is the BIGBOI Pro. This unit is obviously aimed at professional detailers and will be the direct competitor to my MetroVac Air Force Blaster. It has twin motors with individual full and half speed adjustments, and larger diameter hoses and rubber nozzles. Now, although this is the biggest and most powerful BIGBOI blower, it's also still relatively compact and lightweight, at least compared to what I'm used to. On paper, the specs and features are actually quite similar to the Mini, but when using it, you can feel that extra power and speed that the unit delivers. You need to take into account the larger hoses and nozzles, and not just consider wind velocity, but also wind volume, which I have to say is really impressive, but still really manageable with a great user experience. As I mentioned earlier, I want to focus more on my actual use and experience with these blowers, rather than the stats and specs that don't always translate into real-world results. I did try the BIGBOI Pro blower alongside my MetroVac for a more direct comparison, and from a performance stance, they are both quite equally matched as far as I could see. The bigger difference was the user experience, where it's just quite clear that the BIGBOI Pro is quieter and easier to manage around the car, with less user fatigue and stress. However, to be fair, I've had the MetroVac for years and years and it's still going strong, apart from some taped up cracks in the hose, and I'm pretty sure that MetroVac would have updated their blaster since I bought it, which could potentially be quieter or more powerful. But from a price point, it still seems like the BIGBOI Pro will be a good 20 to 25% cheaper. My personal opinion with the BIGBOI Pro would be that it's a great blower for detailing or car wash shops, where speed, efficiency and time are the main priorities. And although it may only save you a few minutes over the Mini, combined with other time-saving methods and techniques, it really does add up at the end of the day. I don't feel that a personal user needs this at their home, especially with the Mini as an option, but it's nice to have that option if you really want the biggest and baddest BIGBOI blower. So what are the negatives? I really wished that BIGBOI would have created a locking nozzle, at least for the Pro version, as no matter how tight that nozzle fits onto the hose, it will get progressively looser and looser once the heat kicks in, just like it did on the MetroVac, and fly off the car. I know that they can design some sort of locking fastener for the nozzles, and I know it's a known issue with the MetroVac, so it would have been nice if they had addressed it properly. Secondly, the wheels and the base of the Pro could have been a little larger and a little higher quality to help out on rough surfaces and deliver a better user experience when you're rolling the unit around the car. But other than that, these units seem great, well priced, aesthetically pleasing, well built, relatively quiet, and most importantly, fantastic little performers. As always, I really hope you guys enjoyed and found this video useful. Please like, comment and subscribe to this channel to show your support for these videos, and I'll see you guys soon.